guys, Anthony here, Bibles and Barbells. It is Sunday, May 10th, 2020. Today's video, I want to talk about a few things. And while I'm talking, I'm going to make a cup of coffee, so hopefully you guys can join me. By the way, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. God bless you. God bless all you do. And, make it a great day. I know this year's Mother's Day is not a day where you could just go out anywhere you want and eat and frequent any restaurants. There's a lot of places still closed, so make the best of it. I'm sure your creative spirits are out there and you're making the best of the day. So we're staying home today. My wife's planting some vegetables in the vegetable garden, which I'm going to show you guys soon. She just finished. I helped her get some potting boxes ready, and she did some planting. So I decided to come in here into my area, and we're going to make some coffee on the Iwatani stove. So while that's heating up, I want to talk about a few things. And I just tried this out recently, this Folgers Classic Roast. It's really good. It's, you need a teaspoon and a cup, hot water, and you got yourself a nice cup of coffee. Pretty inexpensive. I know the BJ's up where I am has the really big one that I'm going to get for, I forget what it was, but it was pretty reasonable. But again, quick cup of coffee, especially in these times that we're in right now. Stocking up on this is a good idea. We did spent several hours the other day vacuum sealing, and much of what we did was some whole bean coffee that I bought at BJ's, and we vacuum sealed it and put it aside because coffee is a huge staple in a time of unrest or a time of lockdown. And so basically, you could measure, but I just put a one of these spoons. This is a Sea to Summit spoon right here. Put that in there. I bought this set when we were up in Washington D.C. on lockdown. It's a Sea to Summit utensil set, very nice set, super lightweight, anodized aluminum. There you can see the Sea to Summit little thing there. They all go on there, and there's also some hex heads here on each utensil. So I think it was like 20 bucks or so. So great little set to have in your kit. So today I wanted to talk about one of the things that's pretty big in in your group, in your whoever you're with in this lockdown, is communications. And you see here I have three HT or handheld ham radios. Two are Bofangs and one is a Woshin. This was my first ham radio right here. This is a Woshin. I'm not even sure if they make this exact brand yet. KGUV2D. 2 meter and 70 centimeter radio. So this water is almost done. So what I did the other day was I went online, and in an emergency, if the repeaters are down, you guys are going to want to talk radio to radio, like walkie-talkie type thing. That's called Simplex. So that's not dependent on a repeater to take the signal and amplify it and send it, a longer distance. It's more going to go by the antenna that you have on the radio, or if you have a small antenna, like a directional antenna attached to it, you can direct the antenna to where the other radio is and talk. You could put up a roll-up antenna like a J-pole. I have that in a kit. I'll show you that in another video. I have videos on my channel on that. And so what you want to do is, we just pour this coffee here. what you want to do is go online and download the Simplex channels. Okay, so it'll look like this. And it'll give you a list of the 2 meter and the 70 centimeter or 440 band. And it'll show you all the Simplex channels that you can put in your radio. Right now, this one is in my radios, 146.520. And this one is 147.510. This one here is the national calling frequency. Both 2 meter and 70 centimeter will have a national calling frequency. It's 446.0 on the 70 centimeter. And that's usually it's monitored by someone. It's a national emergency signal, calling signal. So my radios right now, they're all tuned the same way. So on channel 20 on each radio, so channel 20 on this one is the 147.510 frequency. Channel 20 on the Bofang UV82, I think you can see that, is there. And on the Woshin radio, same thing. And on all three of these radios, I have an aftermarket antenna that's a little bit better signal. And so if there were an emergency and I went on a patrol or on a scout to check things out, if you will, I could leave a radio back at base. And again, if you're not familiar with ham radios, you do need a license. I'm a technician class, have a technician class license, and you'll get a call sign from the FCC when you get your license and pass the test, etc. And that gives you permission to talk on these bands. In an emergency, of course, I don't think I'd be worried about that. In a really bad emergency, you're going to give, let's say, your wife or somebody else in your group one of these radios. They're both on the same frequency. And now, if I'm out in the field and I want to communicate line of sight or not too far away, I can communicate. KK4 KDO, radio check, over. So there you see, this is coming over that radio. Same thing. When I hit the transmit button on here, this signal goes up. KK4 KDO, radio check, over. And now if there's anyone else on this channel that's in listening distance, they may chime in on the channel. So these are open channels. But you have the ability to communicate usually much better than, you know, those handheld talkies that you buy in the in the store. So big thing, get yourself a ham radio. If you don't have one, you could get these online. Go to I'll put the link in the description box. It's Miklor, MIKLOR.com, and he does lots of reviews on the different brands of the handheld radios, also the base stations, with links to Amazon or wherever else to buy those, links for extra aftermarket antennas. And then down on his page, you'll notice there's a section to download what's called Chirp Software. And I'll put a video that I did a long time ago on how to program your handheld radios via Chirp Software. So these radios, all of these radios are eligible or able to be hooked with a cable, a communication cable that costs about 20 bucks. And Miklor will show you which cable you need. Plug from the radio to your computer, to the USB on your computer, and then you can download the Chirp software to your hard drive. It's updated every so often, so you have to update it. And then using that software, you can, in a fairly short amount of time, load all the channels that you want. Let's say you wanted several of these 2 meter and 440 channels in your radio. Okay, let's say you wanted those in your radio. You can take one radio at a time, put the frequencies in, download them to your radio, mark down the channel number for your group that channel is on, and then you could go and begin making a radio, like some type of radio contact guide, where you could say, we're going to use channel 20 today from 8 a.m. to 12. This is your call sign. This is your channel name, and everyone in your group knows what it is. They know what channel to switch to if there's an emergency, if the other channel's corrupted in some way or not coming in. And so you could put some type of radio band plan together. I'm in the process of doing that now on these radios. And so I wanted to do this video getting you guys that maybe don't have something like this or thought about getting something like this going. You could fairly inexpensively get a couple of these radios, program them with the Chirp software that's free, and also on top of that, put in all your local, right now they're up and running, but your local repeaters in your area, and you'll be able to listen to different traffic nets that are on at night or during the day. Those are like emergency communication nets, they call them. And every day they practice at a certain time. You'll go on, you'll check in if you have a license. But if you don't have a license, you can listen in. And that's what I did for a while before I had my license. So ham radio, very important. Communications, very important in a grid down SHTF scenario. Cannot stress that enough, guys, how you need communications in the time of SHTF. It's super important. And in the way our country's going right now, and some of the things they're proposing on us as people are pretty draconian. If you looked at some of the, there was a bill that they have introduced now. It's HR, and by the way, they chose 6666, 4 sixes to number that bill. I think they're trying to send a message to many of us that the game is on, guys. So basically this bill, HR 4 sixes, it's called a contact tracing bill. Basically what it is, and from what I've seen so far, they're going to hire an army of volunteers or people, if you will. They could be your neighbors. They could be people in your community that go around. And basically, if there's a report that you are, someone in your household has got the little pandemic that we have going on, they'll go in and they'll, let's say your mother lives with you and she has been found positive for the ailment. They'll come in, they'll interview her. Who'd you talk to, ma'am? Who were you near? Where were you last? And they'll do what's called contact tracing. And they'll go back and they'll trace all the people you were in contact with, or that person was in contact with, and then go to those people and do the same. But also recommend that, oh, by the way, we have to take your mom with us to a safe place so she doesn't infect everybody else in the residence. So it's whereby they'll be coming in your house, maybe very friendly at first, but down the road you can see where this is leading. It's leading to basically the government knowing every little step you take, being able to come in, disperse people, take your children, take you, disperse in the name of safety and love, of course, and take you guys away to a camp or a place to rehabilitate and get better. And let's say you don't get better according to their standards, you don't come home until you are ready to do so. So that's something that's been introduced. There's lots of videos online. You can go into more detail and look at that. But it's scary stuff, guys, because they're pretty serious about it. You got members of the World Health Organization talking about it not too long ago. You got a guy in I think it was a health worker out in, he might have even been a sheriff or a health worker out in Ventura, California, which is where they plan on instituting this first as a pilot program. And so he came out and basically said it, then he backtracked. But you could go on and see what he said. I have it on my Instagram page. He basically said the same thing I just said. They're going to isolate people, find them, send out an army of volunteers. And who's recruiting this army right now? What are they being taught? I don't know. What are they being told? I don't know. But I know it's, judging from what I've seen so far during this episode that we're going through, it's usually against or breaking our rights in some way, shape, or form as a nation. So they're showing that the rights that we have, our unalienable rights, are not important to them. They really don't give a crap about them, and they're going to push upon us their new way of existing, no matter what we say, or until we finally push back with a lot of momentum, which I think is going to happen. So guys, I'll cut this video short. The main part of the video I wanted to show you was the importance of communications in a grid down. And I've been practicing with this. I'll go out, I'll walk the dogs and go, a good distance away in my community where I'm pretending, or not really pretending, but I'm going on a patrol while walking my dogs just to see any different things. And take my radio with me, leave one with my wife in the house, and I'll do a radio check at varying points to see if it's loud and clear. And everywhere I went in the perimeter of my neighborhood right now on the patrol, we've been able to get a clear signal using Simplex. So using a Simplex ham radio channel on these radios, we've been able to communicate with no problem. Now, my wife does not have a license, but at this rate, I really don't care. All she's doing is giving me the radio check that it's clear. And so my main goal is to know that this works. I'm not so much interested right now in whether everybody in my household has a license. I'm interested in making sure this is clear and the signals are getting across. So you understand where I'm coming from on that. And so that's the main thing I wanted to get across today. I'll put the links down below where you guys can go on and download the software, go to Mick Law's channel, or do a search for yourself. There's lots of information out there on ham radio, on YouTube. Just do a search. There's lots of good channels out there. They're also upgrading licenses now. I think you could upgrade your license via the web without even having to go. You could take your test online. So I'm looking to upgrade my license where I can talk on the HF, all the HF bands, and not just 10 meter on HF. So that's something I'm looking into down the road. Want to do another video on some of the food preps that I've done. But guys, this is paramount right now. While things are still relatively calm out there, and they are, stores are still open, shelves are still fairly stocked. Food preps, super important. Water preps, super important. Bullets, ammo, super important. Firearms and associated items that go with them, super important right now. Radios, two-way communications, ability to listen, super important. Fuel, super important. Tools, super important. So look at everything that you have, categorize it, and see where you're lacking. And see, I have to beef up my, tools. Do I have crowbars? Do I have hammers, nails, screws, cordless drills, ability to recharge them? While I'm on that topic, I was going to cut the video short, but since I have this gear sitting at my feet right here, things like, can I recharge my cell phone via a solar panel. Well, yes, right here is a 100-watt folding panel from Rock Pals that I had my cell phone hooked to yesterday. And I'll try to link the video clip that I took yesterday to this video. And I was able to top off my phone in about 10 minutes using this panel outside in the sun. Can I keep my standalone gel-filled batteries or car batteries topped off so I could use them for various things to do off-grid? With this system that I have here, this is a Renogy 100-watt folding suitcase with a built-in support system to hook up directly to my RV or a battery, top it off, keep it going in the sun, which enables me to keep the lights going, the water pump running, everything but the AC basically in my RV can be run off this Renogy off-grid 100-watt solar panel. But why I'm showing you these guys is because, and then I have several smaller ones, portable ones you could put in a pack or take with you. This you could throw in your car. This is a 100-watt panel. I think there's 5 panels when this opens up and unfolds. And maybe I'll do a video on it and show you guys. But power goes down. You have the ability to run items of necessity, a string of LED lights. That'll charge a battery. The battery will run the lights. I'll show you here the battery. Okay. Can you see that? Goal Zero battery there. There's another Goal Zero up there. And I could top those off using my solar panel setup. And I could run LED lights. I have an LED light right above me that runs right off the Goal Zero. That LED light on the ceiling will keep enough light here in my workshop area where I could run it off that Goal Zero 400 battery probably for a couple of weeks if I just use it when I need it. So, big thing, guys, to think about. That's why I'm telling you, make categories, make lists of where you're short. Obviously, the things that matter, really matter most right now are, stacking the food up because running into the shortages that we're running into in this country is not good. Looking at the meat supplies and just the truckers that are being unemployed right now, thousands and thousands of truckers are off the road. And so that eventually is going to trickle down into less and less getting to where it's got to go. So if you're just thinking superficially about this, you're going to be in a little bit of a panic mode right now because if you haven't been or you're just taking this lightly, we are in just the beginning phases of what they're rolling out here. So you have to be able to, when you're charged against, you have to be able to countercharge. So our countercharge as Americans, as patriots, should be, they're trying to limit the food supply, I need to stock food. They're trying to limit guns and ammo, I need to stock guns and ammo. So whatever they're trying to do, in essence, you have to strike and counterstrike. So they're striking, counterstrike. Who's they? They are those that want a different world system in place. That has no room for the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. It doesn't factor that in. It factors in its own utopia, its own rules that men have drawn up a long time ago to put into place. And over the years, they have been working towards these goals through presidents that are selected, not elected, in our country, and moving slowly towards an end result. Now they're moving a lot faster. So strike, counterstrike. Think about that today. Okay? And I'll leave that, I'll cut this video out with that note or that thought, if you will. So stay ready, have a great day, enjoy your families, enjoy being an American, enjoy your freedom. Don't take it for granted. Enjoy your freedom to worship. Because they close churches down, it doesn't mean you're not a Christian anymore. Everywhere you go is where the church is. Where everywhere the body of believers go is where the church is. The church is here. The church is within you. The ecclesia, the body of believers, the called out ones, dedicated ones. You don't need to go to a physical building. You can gather anywhere. God bless. Take care. Stay ready. Anthony, signing off. Rock Pal's 100 watt folding solar panel. Charging off my cell phone right now. Hopefully we can see that. It's charging. It is charging. Plugged in to the back right here.